limiting bereavement to cognitive approaches. That is, talking about it. When the very first question of the 3 questions is, what are you? You're a feeling. And somehow we think that people can think their way out of grief. And just to say a couple things here, the public assume that hospices are great at dealing with grief. The public assume that we're using the latest technologies and methods to help people resolve grief. But my question is, are we? And my first-hand knowledge is that most don't. It's an estimated 70 to 80% of human suffering is non-physical, yet most hospices are tending to be more and more of a clinical model. The point is, you can't think your way out of grief. And again, it was all over. There was weeks I didn't get out of bed. It was just, anyway, I went to 14 hospice counselors, and nobody could help me. Everyone just wanted to talk about it. And then the breakthrough happened. I found really a physician in Chicago that helped me and showed me these different things. So I can't go into all this except for to point you to the things that have worked. EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. IADC from Dr. Al Bakens. That's what really, the combination of these two did amazing things for myself. And Hemisync, I had a couple other things, or even exploration of the dream state. What's happening what's the commonality in all of these different bereavement modalities? Eyes back and forth. There's something happened. It opens a portal. It does whatever. But the curative results, we can do more in 45 minutes or an hour than in 30 years of counseling. And I almost owe my life to it. But yet, hospices aren't doing it. I mean, I can look, I was with the CEO the other day, and we were up high elevation looking over the city, and I said, listen, there's a city of hurting people. That's your opportunity. And with most hospices ignorant, or sometimes even willfully not doing this stuff, that opens the door. And I remember, and this was let me tell you, I mean, anyway, I can just go on and on about this, but it's part of your mission. So let's do a quick rebrief, and then I'll take a few questions. Hiring the insecure or smart CEO. Again, number 1. Why? Because great hospices have been mismanaged out of business from that single position. You know, the great influence. Right. Point 2, not focusing on quality. Again, mission. Dedication to the mission of why we're doing this. We are here to help people feel better. 3, not focusing on the 70%ers. An organization is about inspiring and motivating people to move in a common direction, basically leadership. So we've got to focus especially on that critical clinical leader level of the org chart. 4, not benchmarking or even having the professionalism to know the norms of quality and cost. Again, this measurement equals focus. Again, ignorance of this is foolishness, or even I'll just say low consciousness, or you could say low awareness. But we want to know precisely where to go to work. 5, not having clear, impressive, and sustainable standards. How can you do accountability if you don't have standards? If you don't have clear standards, people are going to say, what? I didn't know that was a standard. 6, not using compensation to automatically do accountability to relieve the burden, especially on clinical leaders. If someone can show me a better way to do this, but again, we just see it time after time after time. The pattern is a success. So it's the only known way of doing it, because your managers won't. 7, not ditching budgets, but rather using, again, percentages of net patient revenue. Why wouldn't an organization want a dynamic economic feedback system? Dynamic is the key, feedback. 8, not teaching about accountability. Okay, and this is probably the number one or most important thing in this and maybe even any other teaching, where we all confront our lives. You know, our experience as this center of consciousness. And realizing that when we look at it and say, wherever you're at, and then get to the point where, what can I do to improve this situation? What can I do to make it better, or make the feeling better, or my experience of life better? All that is positive. 9, solving unnecessary IPU losses. Again, this is another mission thing. Why wouldn't anyone not take penicillin when it's right there? 10, limiting bereavement to cognitive methods rather than EMDR, IDC, Hemisync, SAM. I mean, any of these methodologies, again, that are just so effective. Again, where you can do more in 45 minutes or an hour than in years and years of thinking about it or talking about it.